Hello, this is Mr. Kenyanola, and I'm going to show you how to convert radians into degrees. If you remember, radians is the distance to go around the circle, and if we went all the way around the unit circle, that distance would be 2 pi, or the circumference around would be 2 pi, and degrees is the rotation, and the total rotation around a circle would be 360 degrees. So what would we would do is we would take this radians and put it over 2 pi and multiply it by 360 degrees to get the fraction or the parts of that total rotation. But before we do that, instead of plugging this right into x, we would get a fraction over a fraction within a fraction. So I want to make this a little simpler for you guys. So I'm going to put this into parentheses, and I'm going to put this over 1, and we're going to simplify this process just a little bit. So if we looked at this, is there anything that we can cancel out or simplify? Yep, the 2 and the 360. I heard you say the 2 and the 360. So 2 divided by 2 would be 1, and 360 divided by 2 would be 180 degrees. So this formula right here simplified would be x over pi times 180 degrees, or if we rewrote that, it would be x times 180 over pi, and this x will be that in radians. So this right here is your formula to convert radians into degrees. So make sure to put this in your notebooks, or make a power card, or make a flashcard, and put this on the front, put this on the back, and there you go. So let's use this formula right here. We would take this radians, this distance, 7 pi over 4, and multiply it by 180 over pi. And so we would simplify this. These pi's cancel out, and let's take our trusty calculator. Okay, and let's press our fraction button, and let's put 7 times 180 over 4. That would be 315 degrees. And there you go. There's your final answer. You take the radians and multiply it by 180 over pi. If you watch my previous video on how to convert degrees to radians, it's the same formula, but you just flip it. So it's not the same formula. For degrees to radians, it's pi over 180. Radians to degrees, 180 over pi. So just think you want to get in degrees, so put the degrees over the radians. Let me show you 2 more examples on how to convert radians to degrees. So here's a negative. Don't be scared of negatives. That just means in the unit circle, it's going, instead of going from the first, second to third, to the fourth quadrants this way, it's going from the first to the fourth quadrant, so it's going clockwise. So it's still the same formula. We're going to write negative 11 pi over 9 times 180 over pi. And let's see if we can cancel anything out. Yeah, we can cancel these pi's out. And let's not use a calculator over here. And let's try to simplify this with our brains. So 9 and 180, yeah, these would cancel out or simplify. The 9 would turn into a 1, and this 180, 18 divided by 9 would be 2. 0 divided by 9 would be 0. So 180 would turn into a 20. And then, so we would be left with negative 11 times 20. Then now I'm going to grab my calculator. Negative 11 times 20 would be negative 220 degrees. So our final answer would be negative 220 degrees. All right, there's that. If you didn't want to go through this process and you have a calculator and your teacher allows you to use a calculator, use it, type it in, and there's your answer. And let's do this last one, last example. Same formula, same process. We would write 8 pi over 3. We want to convert it into degrees. So we'll get that 180 degrees over pi. Cancel out these pi's. And let's just use our calculator this time. So 8 times 180, close parentheses, over 3 is 480 degrees. If your calculator doesn't have this really cool fraction function, all I can say is sorry. You'd have to just manually do it, but that's fine. It's fun to do things manually. It builds up your brain muscles. But otherwise, this is how you convert radians into degrees. Have a great day or evening or night or morning, whatever time of day it is.